Hey everybody, it's your old friend V. How you doing? Sorry I haven't been around for a little while. I had a lot of family stuff happening, and then that stuff went away, and um, I'm able to play a little more this winter, and I'm really excited about it. So we will not be doing a mining run today, believe it or not. Since my return, I've been kind of disappointed to see that mining's really not in a good standing as in the sense of trying to make money. It's not to say that you can't make money. You certainly can make money solo mole mining. You're gonna probably be, in the neighborhood of 500 to 700k an hour if you're lucky. If you're super lucky, you can get 500 to 700k an hour. That's probably not going to happen every mole run. There will be plenty of mole runs where you make 200 or 300k in an hour. And these salvage missions that they have going right now are incredible. So let's talk about those real quick. So there are these salvage missions here in the contract manager. If you go to salvage, you're going to find that there are different levels. This one has a fee of 5,000, and then there's a fee of 20,000. Hammerheads and C2s and A2s are 50,000, and there are some 30,000 ones as well. Okay, there are a couple of different types. There's legal ones, which are on the general tab here, so general salvage. Risky ones are in the personal one here. So if you look here, here's a couple of C2 jobs. This one's going to be off of Yila, and this one is going to be off of Magda, I think is how they work. That's right. Person weapons testing site. Anyways, when you take these risky ones, you have a half-hour timer from the time you take them. So it's better to get over by Yila or get over, this is by Ida. Go over there before you take these ones. But you can see they go pretty quickly. People do take them. So here on the general tab, I just will show you. I generally will choose the C2 variant. So if I go to, I did already accept one. And the reason I did it is because when they pop up, you have to take them. I did this C2 one right here, and it is on HURL1. And that's what we're going to focus on today. Now, we're not going to be doing hull scraping. Once again, in order to kind of open up these larger vessels, you will have to have a vulture, and you will have to do 2 to 4 of these 5,000 aUEC ones. I like the cutter. The Drake cutters are pretty squarish. You can get those done pretty fast. But any of these, the Titan Renegade or a Vulture or anything else, you can get them done pretty fast. And then once you've done 2 to 4 of these missions with actual hull scraping, where you complete the mission, then you're going to start getting the larger vessels. And the cool thing is you can just abandon them, And the only thing that we're going to concern ourselves with is removing the cargo. So here, once again, here's a Hammerhead's 50,000 just popped up. The only thing we're going to concern ourselves is removing the cargo from the vessel. So I'm just going to take a C2 out to the C2 that I've accepted. And the C2 that I've accepted will then, that will then be, I'll just back up to it. I'm going to open up the back, and here's how it works. Out of every 5 or so of these C2s missions that you do, these salvage missions, 2 of them are kind of duds. They're going to have like low end stuff on them, titanium and that kind of stuff. Corundum and then 3 of them will generally have at least break even stuff. And then 1 or 2 of them, sometimes you'll make 3 or 4 million on these missions. And that doesn't have to be the risky ones. I have done salvage missions that were just off the general tab. When you got out there, it was full of slam. So you don't know what you're gonna get. So just because you're choosing general ones, that doesn't mean that there are no drugs on there. So if you're not interested in that stuff, you've got to be careful not to load that onto your ship. But I like the general ones also because there is no timer. You can take as much time as you want. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. I've already did all of my precursor ones, and I have accepted a C2 over at HURL1. And that's what we're going to focus on here today. So now, I'm not going to lie. I've tried shooting this video. This is going to be my 3rd attempt. I have had really strange luck today. They are doing pyro preview in for the PTU, and it is just, the servers are running like garbage. And I know that they say there's no connection to that stuff, but I just think they're, in Evocati, they're doing like the pyro preview, and the servers have been not good. So just flying out of the hangar one time I died, and then the other time I actually was in my seat in hyperspace, and like my ship like left without me. It like left me in hyper. It left me in just in the middle of space. Like that's like a throwback bug I haven't seen for a long time. But I'm sure it has to do with desync. And desync is going to be our big enemy today. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and make our way up to the top deck here. And we are going to start heading our way over to HUR L1. So that's what way we've got to head. We're headed over here. HUR L1 is where we're going to travel to, and we're going to try and just get over to the salvage mission. Now, a couple good things about these missions is once you do snap the cargo to your grid, 30k production usually is pretty good. Obviously, if you don't have the cargo snapped to the grid, it's not. But once you've kind of snapped the cargo to the grid, we'll talk about that a little bit. Even if you 30k, generally, I've been seeing, had good luck where, where I was able to recover what I had already loaded. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can't complete one of these missions today. So, all right, we're going to open this guy up. I'm actually going to change it so my shields are going up a little faster. There is kind of a quantum of snare thing happening over here. I don't know what's going on with that. We'll have to kind of keep our eye on that. And we're just going to set our way towards the station. Now, like I said, just flying out of this hangar, I've died, and just trying to hyperspace, to the other mission, I definitely have died as well. So, this is, anything can happen here. All right, out we go. Let's just try and go ahead and take a look here and see if we can just roll. And okay, it looks like we can head right towards the salvage claim. Well, let's go ahead and get a little clear of the station first. Kind of take an eye, look back there, and let's go ahead and see if we've got ourselves. There we go. Got a nice clear lane, and off we go. So we'll see if I don't get pulled out of the ship or something else weird doesn't happen. We'll see. Hey, so far so good. So anyways, yeah, I want to say I haven't been around much, as you guys know. I'm sorry about that. And when I came back, I really did invest a lot of time into mining. I have found that with a solo mole, which, there is a meta there where you can do 28k-ish rocks, and you can use kind of a helix and a surge and a stampede and a focus, to kind of do rocks that are between 20 and 27-ish. You can use an impact to do rocks that are 8 to 18-ish. You know what I mean? And then you can use like an arbor to kind of do small breaks. It's pretty tedious, and you don't make a lot. I mean, it's very hard to get good, clean breaks where you get 100% of stuff. I've managed to do a 74 or 71 SCU Bexlite run. That took a couple of hours. And I made 558k, which is not bad. Don't get me wrong, that's not bad money. The Prospector's in a much worse state, obviously, with only 32 SCU, no way to get the upgraded bags. Really, by the time you get anything, I'm not saying it's probably between 50 and 100,000 a run, which is at least a half hour. You know what I mean? And so let's just say you did 200,000 in an hour. The problem is with these claim missions, like I said, 2 out of the 5 of them are kind of duds. And I don't know what we're going to run into out here. I haven't gone out to this thing in advance and looked. I have no idea. But what I can tell you is you can make millions on these salvage claims. There are times when it has lots of Terranite, lots of Bexalite, Quantanium, like in Quantanium in a much vaster quantity than you're ever going to mine it in. Unless you have a pretty dedicated crew. And the problem is you know, once you get if you get, don't get me wrong, I mean, you can make good money with the mole, but you're going to, you know, if you're going to need to have, you know, a pilot and 3 good people on the laser, or at least 2. And by the time you kind of get out there and split it, they really need to get in the mechanic where you can kind of pre-mark your rocks and go out and, you know, do it that way. Of course, the SRV is coming, and that's going to change everything as well. You might be able to just pull the rocks to the mining vessels instead of having the mining vessels kind of scout around and look for them. So I do see Guap and a few people kind of running solo, you know, solo mole. And don't get me wrong, once again, don't get me wrong. You can still make good money mining, but not nearly as good of money as you can make doing the salvage stuff. I mean, there are times when I've literally in 45 minutes made 3 to 4 million aUEC. Now, I don't know that that's going to happen this time. Once again, we're not guaranteed that stuff. We're going to go out and take a look at the salvage claim together, and we're going to see what's on it, and we're going to lock that stuff down and do the sale. So I like to do these kind of, where I just kind of walk you through how I do them, you know, type of videos. Not everybody does these, you know, there's not going to be a ton of editing in this. You're just going to kind of see it how it is, just, you know, just kind of bare knuckles. So, and that's how I, once again, that's how I did most of my mining mission stuff. And I'm not saying I'm not going to be doing any mining content, because I certainly will be. I do look forward to the time when, like, you need the different things for, like, you have a purpose. You know, you need the different things for, like, base building and that kind of a thing. That being said, you know, little tip or trick, you do want to make sure that the, you know, that the asteroids have rendered in here. And I tend to go around 300 or so, 315, you know, yeah, 320 will be fine, right? Just heading out to these. I don't want to be going too fast where you don't, you know, where a rock might not draw in front of you. So this is kind of the speed that I like to take it at. You can see we're still making a pretty good clip. We're at 51, 50. You can see here 49. So it's not like we're, you know, I mean, some people I think will just gun it, and I don't blame anybody for doing that. I'm a little more cautious as I approach these things. And part of that is because I have definitely smacked into rocks that just didn't render. And so kind of staying around this pace, I tend to find that I'm able to cruise on in towards the rocks. They don't necessarily just, you know, once in a blue moon, you'll just see, like, down in this area here, you'll see your ship just go bright, you know, just terribly bright red. And that means you slammed into a rock or whatever that you may or may not have been able to see. So occasionally I will actually kind of F4, kind of look out and render out. Now, I will show you how I line up as well. I do kind of pull up to the back end of the other C2. I did run these missions before I had a C2 with a Constellation Taurus, and that was fine too. Don't get me wrong. You can still make, you know, while you may not be able to get everything that's on a C2 on the Taurus, obviously, there are many times when you can do pretty darn good with that Taurus as well. So you know, my other thought would be an MSR. I think that's got a wide enough opening in the back where you could kind of get the longer ones in, I think. Of course, a cat would be fine for stuff like this, although the longer ones can be a hassle in the cats too. What I'm talking about, there are different sized cargo containers, and you definitely, you know, I have obviously found that the C2 to C2 is really going to be your best bet. You know, they have both the same size opening. You can kind of back up right to it, and I'll show you that a little bit. You want to try not to bump the vehicle as much as you can. So we're getting close here, as you can see. We're, you know, as I've been chatting, you know, and keeping an eye out for any rocks that may kind of pop up. You can see that we're starting to get close, and as you get close to these things, you will get kind of an update that says that you're kind of in a protected or zone here, and I'll show you that when we cross over into that. So you can see now we're approaching the C2 now, and part of it is just kind of, you know, getting some spatial orientation and kind of looking, you know, giving it a once over and looking and making sure that it's okay, and just kind of preparing to line up on it. So that's what we're gonna do. And you can see I'm not moving real fast. I approach these things with caution. You know, a lot of people would just wheel it in and go to town, and I don't certainly blame them for that. Now I'm starting to get a sense of kind of the orientation. So here's what I like to do. I like to kind of fly right up to the back end of it. You can see there's definitely some cargo on board, and I like to kind of leave it as a surprise. I think you technically could scan it and see what was on there, but I'm not going to do that for our purposes here. I don't know what's on this thing, so we're going to find out together. Like I said, it could be a dud. It could be. So there's that little sign. You can see there you get kind of the holding. That's kind of like, it's almost like a little bit of an area claim for this particular salvage mission. And you can see now I'm actually going to go to the outside, and I'm going to approach here. And I'm going to try and orientate myself in a way that's, you know, in a way where I can just pivot and then look at the craft behind me. So this is the way I like to kind of get lined up and get about this kind of an angle with the ship. Oops, hold on. Like that kind of a thing, which, you know, I don't want to bump it, get too crazy with it. Hold on there, just make sure I'm all right. So here I'm actually going to use the back. I'm actually looking backwards, and I'm beginning to rotate my front, and you'll see the ship kind of coming. I'm pretty close to it, not super close though. That's pretty good. So now I can kind of like do this kind of a thing. Oh, no, hold on. I hope I didn't hit it. I didn't. Okay. Yeah, that was not exactly how I was hoping things would go. Let's go here. Here's what I'm talking about. We want to just kind of, everything's kind of backwards when you're looking this way, so it takes a little bit of time. But I want to just do this kind of a thing, and yeah, that's getting closer, right? But now we want to kind of bring it around this way. All right, and then let's just kind of, all right, so we know our nose isn't perfect, so you can see that me just kind of how I'm orientating to the ship a little bit. And then I'm going to go up just a touch. All right, and then I want to go this way just a touch and maybe bring my nose around this way. Cool. And now you can see here, I want to pitch my nose up just a touch. Or just down, and I'm going to start backing up just a tiny bit. And that's probably pretty good. You know, if I take a look back here and I look, and I'm somewhere, yeah, like in, ooh, I'm pretty happy with that. You know, I'm within 200 meters of it. So I'll go ahead now and I'll turn the engines off. So once again, this is the orientation I'm looking for. I've got my, you know, I've got the Hercs back to back. And that should do it for me here. So I'm going to take a screenshot of that, actually. Do that. Okay, so with that said, now I'm going to go ahead and back on out of here. We're going to go open the doors and begin kind of the fun part of this, which is EVA and the cargo over. once again, we don't know. We're not told. You know, I mean, I could have scanned the ship and then moved on, but you know, I'm gonna kind of grab this cargo either way. What I can tell you is you're gonna run this mission. If you run it 5 times, there's gonna be 4 times that it's gonna be a dud. This is the weirdest. Gonna be the weirdest thing. And then you know, or 2 times it's gonna be kind of a dud, and 3 times. 1 time it's going to be fantastic, and a couple of times it's going to be, you know, pretty good. And that one fantastic time is worth millions. And so here we're going to go ahead and make sure we've got a tractor beam. Yep, we're good there. I have found a little jump. Sometimes, well, you know, not this time, but sometimes a little jump out of the back end will help you out a little bit. Now, cool thing is when you come over here, all you got to do is you don't have to shoot or anything. You just have to press the button and open the ramp. Once you do that, you do want to back away. Keep an eye on your ship. And you just kind of start looking here what they're going to have. All right. This is, first thing is Laranite. Okay, so not great. Laranite is, you know, kind of a mid-tier resource, so not fantastic. But we're going to take it, you know, and I'm just going to kind of give you an idea. Sometimes this is Quantanium, sometimes this is Bexilite, sometimes this is Terranite. In this case, it was Laranite, and so, you know, and we can rotate. I'm holding R down and just rotating this, and I will just take this and we're going to load it either way. And then I do like to make sure it's as far to the front as it should be. And it looks like it could come just a touch, maybe a touch more. Ah, that's going to be perfect. All right. So there's some Laranite. Off we go. Once again, the jump. See how the jump works? Seemed to work better that time. So this is us just kind of what we want to do is try and get as much of this stuff loaded in the back of the mine as possible. More Laranite. So you're gonna kind of see a pattern. Like once you kind of know what it is you got, it's, you know, what you're really hoping for. Obviously, the big holy grail is the Quantanium in a situation like that. You know, if you get Quantanium, that's great. You don't always. And so we're just gonna run this Laranite up, snap it right next to it. Cool. Once again, now we're running out, we're jumping. If you do it just right, you can see that you kind of get a good orientation. You don't kind of flip over or flip out. Another big Laranite in here. All right, we'll grab it. If you get like Terranite or Bexilite or something, certainly better, but we're not going to, you know, obviously not going to sleep on whatever it is we're going to end up with, so. I do want to kind of move that in over there. Good. Good. That's perfect. All right, and so, like I said, once you kind of have those snapped in, the nice thing is if we 30K, that Laranite's on board. You know what I mean? It's locked in. So we'll see how much of this is Laranite. We'll certainly cross our fingers and hope for at least a little bit of tier 1 stuff. Here's another big Laranite. We'll see what the rest of it is there. So we're going to have definitely some heavy SCU of Laranite. This and let's see if I can get a snap too, just kind of right in this area. Yeah, we'll snap it there. That's fine. Now there's still plenty of room over here. I can bring boxes around, but no big deal. Now we want to cross our fingers here and hope a couple of these other boxes in here have some halfway decent resources in there. We definitely want to do that, but let's just kind of see what we got. So first, oh, look at that, you guys. We got some maize. That's drugs. So now we've got to take this stuff over to a breaker yard first. Now, you can decide at this, you can make a decision yourself if it's worth it to have these drugs on board and sell. I'm actually going to take them and I'm just going to run them over and sell them someplace where I have been kind of taken, you know, and we'll see how much of that stuff there is. If there's just a couple, I may just like load them back off. But if a bunch of this is, you know, the drugs, then that's probably for, you know, you can be some good profit in it. So we don't know how this is going to end now, though. You know, it's definitely taking a turn for the shady. And I will tell you, old V's, I'm usually not the type of guy who does a lot of the shady stuff. So, but my mind is, you know, hey, I mean, it's, you got to make that money back on what you paid for the contract. And I think in a way that they're maybe kind of they're kind of fostering this a little bit. All right, good. All right, up we go. So yeah, we're definitely gonna have to make a run for like a breaker yard first, and that's just fine. We can talk about that. There's different ones available. Daymar's usually pretty busy. All right, there's some drugs. There's more maize. All right. So. This stuff is going to be worth, you know, the most out of all the stuff. So, couple of stops for sure. And I am really enjoying this. You know, I really am enjoying this type of gameplay. It doesn't bother me at all. Doesn't bother me at all. And just texting my wife here 1 second. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, I think this is fun. I mean, I enjoy it, and so you know what? If I can't make any money mining, then heck, I'll just do this. I'm good with it. You know, I mean, at least for now, while it's kind of gold rush mode. And what I'm saying, you know, you can do one of these missions and you can make millions. You literally can. If you get lucky. Now, I don't know that we got that lucky on this one, for sure. You know, I mean, and I mean that with all due respect. That maze isn't going to be worth that much. I mean, it's going to be worth a little bit. But, you know, we paid $50,000 for this mission, so. There's some more Laranite, and there's a big thing is, I want to get that little guy, though. Alright, there's a little Laranite. We'll bring him on board. And once you start getting down to the nitty gritty, you can just kind of snap it too. You don't have to get crazy with it. You know, I get a little bit of OCD, I think, going sometimes. And all right, what do we have here? Now that's a big thing of the. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe it's a little guy. Smelter. That is another type of drug that has to be sold at one of the drug facilitas. Okay. All right, there's a big Laranite. Oh, good size, and there's still a few more boxes in there. That's good. Let's kind of twist that one. Once again, that's pushing R down to do that. And we are just trying to work the last bit of this. And this is, yeah, this is your typical salvage mission. I mean, we're about hitting 30 minutes now or so. And so, you know, it's, you can see that that this can be, there's a little more Laranite. let's get that on board. So, you know, this is probably going to, now that we have 2 stops to make, and, you know, hopefully we don't get, I'm going to teach you a little bit about, you know, about maybe the best way to go about running some of this stuff. You know, at least a couple little tricks I know, and I don't, you know, whether or not they'll, you know, we never know if we're going to get stopped or not. You know, we're going to do our best. But we are going to do, we're also going to run this stuff and turn it in as well. So, all right, here comes the Laranite. We're almost there. A little bit more. And once again, I could have done a lot, you know, better job. And you can actually, you have to be careful about stacking boxes on top of other boxes, although it should work. Make sure that you know, you can stack like a Laranite on top of a Laranite, but do not stack different types of resources up, because there's a bug right now and it will not recognize it. So, all right, just 2 more boxes now and we're going to be out of here. All right, 1 more box. Oh, it ended up being some slam, huh? All right, we'll take it. A little bit of slam. We'll have to figure out. I mean, we paid $50,000 for this contract. This one is probably going to be more like a middle of the roader. It's not going to. You're not going to have a ton of, you know, money in this. Let's go ahead and jump on board. I think we're going to be good here. I'm going to put this guy away. And let's work our way. Now we're going to go to one of the salvage yards to sell the drugs first. And then we'll go sell the Laranite after that. And there's quite a bit of Laranite there, but the Laranite's not going to be worth that. I mean, it's a mid-tier resource. So hopefully the Laranite's worth maybe 100,000 or so. I don't even, you know, we'll have to see. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna, you know, once we kind of get in the seat here, we're gonna make a decision what way we're headed. Now I haven't been to the Hurston breaker yards before. I'm sure they're probably fine. I don't like to have to go to, you know, I try and stick to one of the moons. So here's what we're gonna do. Considering where we're at, I'm actually gonna head towards ArcCorp. Where I'm actually headed towards is Walla. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. So first thing we want to do is we want to make sure when we turn on our engines that we pull away, you know, cleanly from the, you know, from the ship. We don't want to, you know, we don't want to mess that up. Second of all, what we want to do here is the next thing and once again, you can do this. There's no problems. You're not going to cause yourselves any issues. It does say you may abandon the contract early with no penalty. So I abandon it once I'm done with that. Then I'm going to make my way, you know, towards ArcCorp. But I really want to show you guys it's an important trick. So what we're trying to do is we're going to try and go over to Walla. And there is a salvage yard at Walla that we're going to try and sell the drugs. So we'll have to see how that goes. I mean, there's no guarantee it's going to work.
Quantum travel engaged.
Let's cross our fingers. So here is the real kind of the tricksy thing I want you to learn. Okay, you do not have to go all the way to ArcCorp. As soon as you break this ring here, you can actually come out of Quantum, and I highly recommend that you do that. You're going to have less of a chance of being kind of interdicted and scanned. If you do that, I'm not saying it won't happen, but there is less of a chance of it happening. And so here we are. We're in for our ride to ArcCorp. When we start getting, you know, 3 or 4 million away, we're going to go ahead and see how that goes. So we're about 35 minutes into the video now. We've gotten all of the cargo loaded. Some of it ended up being, you know, kind of contraband, and so we're dealing with that, you know, as it comes. And that's what I mean, a lot of people don't realize when you take the non-risky ones, it can be loaded with drugs too. I mean, I've had them where it was like giant things of slam where, you know, it was literally worth millions that way. So my best guess is I'm thinking this whole run is going to be somewhere between 300,000 to 500,000. I don't know that it's going to be much better than that. But I'm just going to cross my fingers and we're going to find out. So I do have the TS2 drive in this C2, and that's a good thing. And you can see we're now under 10. We're kind of closing. I do want to go back to what I was talking about, which is here. I'm keeping an eye on myself. You know, I'll come into view here, but as soon as we cross the line, it'll be just a sec. You can see we got plenty of fuel. We're getting closer to our court now. It's, you know, like I said, we really do want to make sure that we. All right, you can see us. We're coming in. We're just passing ARC L1. You can hear that the telltale sign of you know, of the journey coming to an end with that kind of the noise that lets you know in the quantum. You can see here we're just starting to. All right, so we're about to cross. Usually when I'm about here, what I'll do is I'll head back. I'll look and realize it's, yeah, and then I'll probably just go ahead and stop.
Quantum travel complete.
Now, if you look here, I'm inside the ring, right? But now I can clear route and just set route right back to Walla directly. And just kind of set route directly to Walla. And that way, we never did go anywhere near Art Court, where we could have been, you know, had a higher probability of being scanned. I'm not saying that we can't be scanned in the spot that we are now. We certainly could, but at least there's less of a chance of it if you do not approach. And the last thing you want to do is approach Art Corp and then like go AFK or whatever. You definitely don't want to do that. That could be a real problem. So that being said. We're approaching Walla now. And now, cool thing is, it's a square icon.
Quantum travel complete.
Once you're here, if you look for the square icon on the planet, that's where we're headed. The Samson and Sons Salvage Center, and as soon as we're spooled, there we go. We're rolling over and headed over towards it. It looks like it's going to be in the daylight on that side of the planet, which is fine. There are many times there are going to be vehicles here. You just kind of pucker up and go see if you can get it sold. You know, I mean, obviously use your best judgment. If you need to just buzz out of there, buzz out of there. But for the most part, I try and just kind of, you know, get close, get landed, and try and sell this stuff. There are times when people just log off. Heck, I've even, my son and I even had one time where somebody left almost $1 million. They probably just couldn't sell it all. But they left darn near $1 million on their C2 with their doors open, and we just kind of we took their stuff and put it on our C2 and sold it. So all right, so we're just gonna kind of keep an eye here. We are gonna close. When you are flying, pinging is never a bad idea, right? You can see me pinging. I just like to kind of keep on keeping, you know, firing off a ping every so often, and you know, when we get within 10 or so, yep, you can see there are definitely vehicles down there, so we don't know what we're going to get ourselves into, and you never do know. It's just one of those things. You just kind of grit and bear it. You know, hopefully, you know, there's not some PvPers here looking to take you out. Sometimes there are, you know what I mean? And that's just kind of the nature of things. Now, if we wouldn't have grabbed drugs, you know, we could have avoided this part of it, but you know, we took the riskier route and grabbed them, and sure enough, there are vehicles down here for sure. So, oh, let's just kind of. Not a bad idea to kind of just keep an eye out as best we can. Got my light on. I'm going to drop my gear and lower my VTOLs. Let me give it a ping here.
Landing gear
And you can see there's some good-sized ships in here. All right, yeah, we've got a couple of C2s in there. So we're gonna scooch around to this side. You can see people are running these things like crazy right now. Okay. Don't have a great sense of how this is going to go. Alright, well, it doesn't look terrible.
Landing complete.
Let's see how I'm doing back here if I cut the... Alright, I got the engines cut. I've got the light on. We'll just have to see how this goes. I very well could get shot going in here, but you know what? That's just kind of nature of the beast, right? So we're going to go in and we're going to try and sell this stuff. I'm going to go down this way. Alright, I'm going to do this. We will do an exit ship from here. And then my goal is to try not to get killed here. Obviously, as soon as I can top deck, I'm going to top deck. As soon as I know this thing's going up, I top decked already. I top decked again. Alright, now good. Now I'm going to try and run in here and see if I can't sell. Hopefully I'm close enough. Guys lifting off over here. I'm going to stay out of the light if I can. As much as I can. Well, I don't want to get myself killed either. I'm trying to land as quick as they can. I don't know if they'll get to me or not in time. But then again, I don't really know exactly where the thing is. I'm not that great about knowing that stuff. I think it's right there, though. I think it is. I should be able to get in there and... Yeah, you can see somebody left their thing open. Here, I want to go here. What in the world? Trying to sell it as fast as I can. Select location. Really? I'm apparently not landed close enough. I'm too far away. That's horrible. I mean, I could have landed a lot closer here, but it didn't look like it when I was in the ship. So I will pull it up a lot more, and, you know, obviously if anybody wanted to have at me, they definitely could have got me by now. Alright. We'll see if we can't get this thing a little closer, and Boy, that was a big mistake. You know, you obviously want to try and get in here as quick as possible and get stuff sold, and I just didn't realize I wasn't going to be close enough to the terminal. It didn't recognize the C2 at all. Oh. All right. And those guys are definitely hanging around. I don't know what their intentions are, but I'm sure it's not good. Very likely it's not good anyways.
Engines on. Launch complete.
I guess I'll try and go over here. Some and... I don't know if I'm landed in trash or not. Alright, we'll try it again. Now this video's gotten a lot longer than I'd hoped it would, but you know what? You've just got to see it. You know, I'm not gonna show you, you know, if I make mistakes or whatever. I'm not gonna act like I didn't. That's for sure. If for some reason this stuff sells for a lot better than I think it's going to, I may just call the video there and maybe give an update towards the end on what the... It's weird. Kind of got myself freaked out like somebody's on the ship. Keep hearing noises. Alright, let's try this again. I don't know what that is. Looks like a bomb. It is. Some ordnance. Alright, let's try this again. Hopefully we're close enough this time. I don't know that we are or we're not, but we'll find out. Alright, hopefully we can... There we go. That's what we're looking for. We had some maize. That they won't buy. Awesome. That's just fantastic. Well, we made our contract money back. There's 53,000 in that. Okay. And slam. 31,000 there. Except. So that maze, I don't have a way to sell. I think I'll probably just throw that off my ship then. So far we've made about 30,000 on this run, and we still have all that Laranite. Although I am going to take that maze and just throw it off my ship, just because I'm not going to make an extra run for it. And that's the first time I've actually had maze. Look at all these bombs on the ground. That's so funny. I'm actually going to run around to the back here, and I'm going to open up the ramp. Alright, let me find the maze. That's Laranite, Laranite. 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 Maze. What the heck? Why am I flying out backwards? Holy shit. I think that was all the maze. There's 3. It was basically 5 SCU. Let me close this up. Let me just double check. Okay, that's Laranite. That's Laranite. That's Laranite. That big one's Laranite. Okay. That's Laranite. That's Laranite. Oh, wow. We do have a lot of Laranite. Let's go see what that's worth. And then we will call it good. So, we'll definitely have ran over an hour on this video, which is crazy. But it's here nor there. You know, I'm just kind of enjoying the time, and I'll give you an idea of kind of how one of these runs go. And I will tell you, you know, hopefully we got another couple hundred, maybe 100,000 here, or we'll just have to see. Probably not a ton. Laranite is not worth. It's not a tier 1 resource. All right, so we'll go ahead and.
Engines on.
Now we're gonna head basically over to ArcCorp and sell from here. Now you can drive it like you stole it. Now, when I approach ArcCorp, I always hit Everest Harbor first. That's just kind of a... Now that they've got the clouds, I have a hard time finding them. Unless I line up on Everest first. So, we'll be definitely doing that. We're approaching ArcCorp pretty quickly. We're going to work on getting over to Everest and then going down from Everest to... I meant Bikini Point. I apologize. Alright, so we're looking for... there it is. That's actually excellent. So Bikini is right there. It just so happened we can make a quick jump to it. That's what we're gonna do. Alright, and let's go ahead and work our way over towards Area 18. It's never not cloudy there. I mean, I don't know what the deal is. Like, Area 18 is constantly cloudy now. It's terrible to try and find. It's like, you know, there's a few things about the year 2953. It's like, man, night vision, being able to find a starport. There's really some, some things some quality of life things they really need to work on. Now, I do know, generally speaking, that when I come this direction, when I come from Everest, it's generally up in this area. So it's kind of like almost like an 11 o'clock-ish type thing. And I will start pinging to see if... And it's hard to tell but, that's another way to see it. But you can see, there's just so much cloud cover. I can't tell. I can't tell where the airport is. So I just happen to know that if I fly towards... if I fly from Everest, or from Bikini Point, it's generally at the 11 o'clock position, when I come down. And I just cross my fingers and hope it's that. I mean, that's just where I'm at with it at this point. You can look for other ship icons as well. You can see I'm really desperately trying to see where this thing's at. There are times I'll look around, I mean, just to make sure I'm not... I can see it there for the first... Now I see it. I happened to get a glimpse through the clouds there. That's fantastic. Got lucky. But looking for ship icons can help, for sure. I'm going to drop my gear and lower my VTOLs and keep coming in. But you can see, yeah, it's not an easy...
Landing assist.
Alright. It's not necessarily easy to find the landing zones at all, so... Alright, so here we are. We're making our headway here. The video's approaching an hour. And that's, certainly longer than I'd hoped, but this is typical. I mean, it was a little unusual to find some drugs, and those drugs did pay for, I'm 30,000 up already on this run, which is, this isn't going to be one of the better runs. I mean, once again, you can get ones that are worth millions. This one here, I might make 100,000 on or something. I don't know how much this Laranite's going to be worth. See, there's a lot of ships just kind of randomly here and about. That's okay. Okay. This is me just kind of... Just set my trim down just a touch. How do we do? Are the back feet on? They seem to be. Oh, there's one that's not. There we go. You gotta get all three down before they'll give you the landing complete. Cool. Well, we did have a little bit of cost on our hydrogen, a little bit of cost on our quantum fuel. Killed our engines. Let's go in and sell the rest of this and see what it was worth. Now, it's not going to be worth a ton, for sure. It's just Laranite. And I think there's an exceptional amount of SCU of it, better than 50, maybe, or whatever. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We have the sketchy Salvage Yard run, and, Lot happening today, for sure. Alright, so let's go ahead and see if we can't get this wrapped up. Nothing's happening fast today, I'll tell you that. But I did manage to get, you know, all this done so far, so that's good. And we will, okay. Okay, there it's starting to go up. I usually don't want to leave the ramp until it's heading back up, so I know no one's going to sneak on there or whatever. It's just a little old school, I suppose, in that regard. But, yep, here we go. We're going to go sell this Laranite and see what we got. There's some Laranite in here for sure. I don't know exactly how much, but I could have did the math and figured it out, but I think it's going to be slightly north than 100 SCU, unless I don't know how much those boxes have in them. We'll see. Alright, let's go ahead and store the C2.
Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System.
Good. And like I said, I really want to point out that, you know, there are times when you'll make less money on those C2 runs, and there will be times when you make more, you know, much substantially more money on those C2 runs. And you're never, you know, there's no mining where you're out there for a half hour, you know, making 3 or 4 million. It's nothing. There's nothing like it. So, you know, if you run 3 or 4 of these in a row, if you just get one of them, you know, that pops off in a good way, you know, you'll make tons and tons of money. I mean, you know, I'm over 10 mil and I have only ran a handful of these missions.
Now leaving the station. Stand clear.
And you know, we bought a Constellation Taurus for my son, and I bought a the Drake Vulture for him as well. So, you know, him and I have made really good money doing this. So, as it sits now, you know, I paid $50,000 for this contract, and we're only up about $30,000 for the hour. And this is probably, you know, I'm hoping that it's at least 100K or 150K, which, you know, I mean, once again, this particular run didn't turn out as well as I'd hoped, but it is, you know, very much indicative of what a run can look like. Now, I would have had some options, right? I could have just abandoned as soon as I seen it was Laranite. I could have just took off and just grabbed another C2 mission as soon as one was available. But I you know, I wanted to do this all in kind of one big narrative, so you could kind of see how this is done. Just because I didn't find the good stuff, it doesn't mean that you can't apply the logic to what was done here today. You know, and so this is a convention center. We're not going to stop here. We're going to let it go a little further, and we're almost to the end of the video here. So we'll just kind of see how it goes. There's been a lot of tram on tram madness, and you can see some tram on tram violence. Just kind of stay put and hope for the best. All right, this is going to groove on over to the central district area, and then we're going to go over to the TDD, and we're going to sell. And so And we'll just kind of go from there. So, yeah, I could have kept recording these till I got like a really good one and kind of made it seem like that's the way it is. It's not the way it is all the time, right? Sometimes you're going to do one of these and you're only going to make 150,000. Sometimes you're going to do one of these and it's just going to be a straight dud.
Now arriving.
You know, I mean, it's going to be, you know, and normally I wouldn't pick up Laranite. I'll just be honest with you. Normally I would just, you know, would have checked that thing. I probably would not have even did that one, you know, once I realized there was that much Laranite in it. So this is actually will be kind of a lesson for me as well. If this ends up being a, you know, a couple 100,000 or something, then it still wasn't a bad run. We'll see. Lots of citizens about today. That's awesome to see. So let's just see what we have here in Laranite. I think that's it. I don't think there was anything else really on there. There wasn't any gold. There was no tier 1s at all. And we did make 80,000 or so. And there was other drugs that I was unable to sell, the maze or whatever. And I think, you know, if Jumptown had been going on, I think that would have been, you know, more profitable. So what do we have here? We got the C2. It's got 157 SCU. So one SCU is 5,000. So, oh, we might have did a little better than I thought we did. 157 SCU of Laranite is going to be... so 439K. So there you go. Right? So we had already made about 35,000 based on it. So, you know, we made this, even on this run, this was not a super high-end resource. We made almost 400, and that's 444, 475. We made 475,000 on this. Oh, and there's something on here that it won't sell. I bet you there's some more Laranite on there. That's what we're gonna find out. There's some more Laranite on there that it won't sell. If we go to sell and we go look, we're gonna find out. We're gonna see a no demand. Oh, on a buy, we'll see no demand. Or I don't know. Something's going on. Let's see. No demand. In demand. What is it? What is this stuff for cannot sell? What is that stuff? I don't know. But it's 16 SCU of something or another. I can't tell what it is. Oh my gosh. I was wondering if it was the Laranite. Laranite is out of stock. Buy. I don't know. Well, it doesn't matter. So I'll figure that out. So anyways, yeah, that was almost a 500,000 run in just over an hour, and it's kind of an instant payout type thing. And of course, we did not scrape any of the hull. We just collected the cargo out of the back of this one C2 to one C2, an hour and 8 minutes, and we made 500,000, 475,000. So, and there's still some stuff left on my cargo grid. I don't know exactly what that is. And I'll stick here for a minute. But anyways, I just, hey, I just wanted to share this information with you, kind of run through this and just kind of went old school. Hope that you guys are doing well. And if you have any questions about this, let me know. I'm going to be doing some more salvagey stuff, I think, as time wears on. Of course, I'll do a little mining stuff here and there. But mining is just not very profitable per hour right now. So, not a bad idea to just dig into some other aspects of the game. So, anyways, I hope that you're all doing well. Please take care of yourself. And I will see you all around the verse.